And this today's session is all about, okay, so before we'll get into this today's session, that is on day 2 session, guys, day 1 session is live. And if you have not checked it out, like you have to do the same process. Simply go to the platform, that is academy.3dice.com, and there, after you will log in, you will be able to see your profile over here. Just go to this, click on this my purchase, and from there you will be redirected to your course. If you'll click on it, you can see on the day 1, if you'll expand it, on the day 1 recording has been uploaded. So if you'll click on this, you will be able to see the day 1 recording. So you can revise anytime, you can complete this content, you can start learning anytime until 1 year. So, and once you are done, you can click on complete and continue. It's important. So just go on to the day 1, check it out. And today is day 2. So on the day 2, you can see the assignment 2 is also live with the 2 sketches. And this is the live stream that we are doing right now. Again, if you have any questions or doubt, you can ask me into the chat box. We'll be addressing all the questions and queries at the end of the session. So please use this opportunity of learning and just keep learning with me. And apart from this, like if you'll go onto this platform, I can see there are so many students have also joined into my other courses. And if you'll go onto this website, and once you are logged in, you can go to the course content, and there you will find multiple different courses as well related to 3D printing, AutoCAD, Fusion 360, and these courses are free. Most of them are free, so you can just go and check it out with certificates. So that can also be a very useful for you if you want to check it out. Otherwise, we are learning over here, and right now we are active on this SolidWorks 1 week bootcamp. So if you have any questions, and apart from this, some of you were also asking me that you need practice exercises to practice the sketches and the stuff like that. So for that, what you can do, you can just go onto the same platform, and under the store, if you'll go onto the digital products, there are free downloads available of the practice exercises. So if you go onto the bottom, you can see CAD sketch practice exercises are available. There are 2 different practice exercises. All of them have volume 1 and volume 2, where you will be able to find 10 different exercises, drawings, designs that you can start practicing inside SolidWorks. So use this opportunity of learning, and since all of them are free, you can download it, you can start learning and get started into the tool. All you need is the SolidWorks tool, and most of you are concerned about like from where we can download the tool, right? And many of you are also asking like where I can download the tool. So some of you have personally messaged me to get the setup file of SolidWorks, and I also shared with you, like I just shared with you, few of you with the setup file, but I cannot do it into the group because that is a pirated version, and I cannot officially share into the group. But if you message me personally, I will drop the link from where you can download. But again, I'm repeating, student version is completely affordable. Like if you want to get started, you can purchase it, either student version or maker version, whichever you can afford. So until now, if you have any questions, let me know into the chat box. Otherwise, we are just getting started into the SolidWorks now. So in the last session, we had talked about how we can assess all the tools and how we can navigate across our 3D model. So when I talk about navigation, this means navigating across your models, orbiting it, rotating it, like how we can do that, how you can use your external mouse to create something, to view your model from different angle, different views. And in today's session, we're going to deep dive into the sketching and constraint part. And I think this is the most important part in SolidWorks, because if you are a mechanical engineer or from mechanical background or from design background, it's really very important that whenever you start designing something, all and everything starts with a sketch. So behind every model, behind every features that you are creating, there is a sketch involved. So mastering the sketching technique is super important, super useful, and super necessary. So all of you, I will recommend that please focus on the today's learning and the content. It's very important for you. And again, if you are having any problem, and if you can do it with me, like if you have SolidWorks, just open it into your PC, you can log in, and you can start doing with me as well, because I will be going very slow today, since in the last session, study session, some of you were commenting that I was going too fast. So I will go very slow today. You can start practicing with me. So take a notebook, take a SolidWorks open into your PC or laptop, and start doing with me. It's very easy. So I'm just allowing more 2 minutes. Make your setup ready, launch your SolidWorks, open your notebook, just 2 minutes. And from right now it's 20:09, and we'll start from 20:11. I mean, 8 p.m. 11 minutes will start showing you inside SolidWorks. So just open your SolidWorks. Open your SolidWorks, open your notebook, and take a note, like how we can start creating the perfect sketch that is important to get your fully parametric CAD designs, fully parametric CAD models inside SolidWorks. And until then, if you have any questions, I am always open for questions. I can see some of you have, I think, just dropped something into the chat box. Notebook what? Notebook, you can take any notebook like pen and pencil or something. So you can note down few important points that I will be sharing. Otherwise, you will also get into the group. I will make sure that whatever the points, important points I am discussing, I will also drop that into the group. So, but still, if you can take the notes, this can make you more focused on this learning. This can be more interactive. So it's on to you. So just launch your SolidWorks. And once you are ready, you can just write into the chat box R, just write R, or you can also write ready into the chat box. Just write R into the chat box. If all of you are ready, I can see there are almost 16 members. All of you can write R into the chat box if you are ready to go ahead. Yes, yes, yes. Savijit, others, Chaitanya, thank you. Muhammad, Siddiq, thank you so much. Okay, so we are, all of you guys are ready. So I think that much of signal is important for me. Dushyant, Sundram, Swaraz. So now we can move forward. So on your screen, all of you can see my screen, right? I had shared my screen. So on my screen, you can see we have already launched the SolidWorks. So launching it, so it's very simple. Is just simply go and find your SolidWorks icon, just double click on it. And the moment you will double click on it, it will take some time to load to this tool, because it's a heavy tool. It's not a simple tool or a simple software. It's a very heavy software. So it takes time. Sometimes in some cases, maybe more than a minute. But if your PC configuration is good, I recommend 16 GB of RAM at least if you want to start doing something into SolidWorks. So 16 GB of RAM is the recommended from even the SolidWorks company. So here you can see we just started SolidWorks, and the moment you will start, you will see a screen like this. So in the last session, if you'll remember, I had told you like everything start with the part file. So the first thing that we'll do, we'll start with the part file, and any one of you remember can comment into the chat box what is the keyboard shortcut to launch a new part file. Any one of you, do you remember? Just write the keyboard shortcut to launch a SolidWorks part file. Yes, yes, right, Jagjot Singh. Yes, Dushyant, you're very correct. Control plus N is a way to launch. Aman, thank you so much. So Control plus N is the way to launch a new file inside SolidWorks. So I will press Control plus N. Just a second, Control plus N. Here you can see. Now, by default, the part file is already selected, right? I will simply press OK to launch it. Now, once I will launch the file, what is the next step? What is the next important step that I had discussed in the study session? What we have to do? Correct. We have to save this drawing first, because whatever the time we are spending in any design or drawing, we don't want to lose it. We want to keep backups. We want to keep saving, right? And that is the practice that you have to develop inside you. So the first will save this one. And that will do using this file icon over here. We can click on this save to this PC, or else we can use the keyboard shortcut Control plus S to save the file. like we used to do in any other software, right? Here I will click on this icon, save. Now I will save this one onto my desktop. I will write this, let's say I will write it as sketch one, because we are going to practice this sketch one first. So I am saving this as a sketch one, and I will click on save on desktop. And the moment I clicked on save, it just got saved. And I know all of you are listening to me, watching to me. And so can you answer, like, what is the standard file format for assembly file? What is the file extension for assembly file inside SolidWorks? Because part file, you can see it's written over here SLDPRT, but what is the assembly? Yes, Jigjot, it's SLDASM. I can see Jigjot is very active in the chat box right now. Suvasis, thank you so much. Yes, you are 100% right. That is SLDASM is the file extension for assembly file format. But this is the part file, and for this part file, here you can see this for the sketch one file that the sketch one file that we had created, it is sketch1.sldprt extension, right? Now, okay guys, please keep your mic muted, otherwise I have to forcefully make it mute. So please be careful, because other learners are also listening, and we don't want to we don't want to disturb anyone. So please take care. Okay, so we are back into SolidWorks. So we had launched this first file with the name sketch1.sldprt. And what we are going to make today, we are going to make our first sketch. Right? It's very simple. There is nothing very hard. You just have to go with the right process. So I told you, whenever you will launch any design or drawing, you always have to start with a sketch, base sketch. And that is what we're going to do now. We're going to create our first sketch. So I'm not going to change anything. The only thing that I will make sure is that what is the system of unit for this design file at this moment. And that is important. And that we can confirm from this right bottom corner. If you'll see over here, it says MMGS. All of you can see it, right? MMGS at the bottom. All of you can see it, right? MMGS at the bottom. And what is the system of unit you guys do follow normally in your company or in your daily work? Or what is the system of unit follow? Whether you follow millimeter system of unit or inches or foot, what system of unit do you follow? I think most of us are following millimeters, because we are from Asian countries and we follow millimeter system of unit. So if I expand it, here you can see right now into this drawing or design, the millimeter is also active, right? Millimeter gram second. So that's right. We just have to confirm. If it is not right, we can change this to MMGS, right? If it is not MMGS for you, just check into your SolidWorks and change this to MMGS. Now, to start a sketch, if you are into feature panel, move your cursor and activate this sketch tool panel. Click on this sketch tool panel, and then you will be able to see all the sketching tools, right? So first we are going to create our first sketch, but here you can see we are not able to see any planes into this workspace, and not even we are able to see any origin, right? And if I will hover over to the origin, you can see the origin is getting highlighted onto my screen somewhere onto the center. So this is my origin, right? If I am going over to the origin, it is highlighting, but it is not showing you the plane, because by default the plane is turned off. So if in your case also it is turned off, how you can turn it off, turn it on, all the three planes? Just go on to this hide show items, expand it from this drop down, expand it, and here you can see these planes are turned off. Simply click on it to turn it on. Now if you will click anywhere onto the screen, you can see my planes are now turned on. I can also see the center point, that is the origin point, and I can see all the three planes. So by default in SolidWorks, always we have these three planes: top plane, front plane, and right plane, right? So to create a sketch, we'll go on to the sketch panel, and here you have a tool called sketch, right? And if you will click on this tool, you can see the cursor. In the cursor icon itself explain, it is asking me to select a plane now. So the moment you will activate your sketch tool, the next thing you have to define is the plane onto which you want to create your sketch. Whether you want to create a sketch on front plane, right plane, or top plane, because sketches are mainly 2D objects, right? Just XY is involved in the sketches. So it's important to select a plane, because we can create sketches on a flat plane only. We can create sketches in 3D as well, but here we are only creating sketch plane on the flat planes only. And for that, if you want to create a sketch, we have to define any one of the plane at this moment. So let's say I will select this top plane. So the moment I will move my cursor near to the top plane, it will get highlighted. And I will click on it. And now we are active inside this sketch plane. And you can also see all the sketching tools that was not active earlier just got activated. This means we are ready to start creating a sketch into this drawing, right? Also, if you will see the design tree, I think all of you know what is design tree. So if you'll see the design tree at the left side, a new entity just got added. Apart from this default options, a new entity just got added, and that is sketch 1. So right now on top plane, we are creating our first sketch, that is sketch 1, right? But these two planes are also coming in the center. That is not really good. So we'll go back again to option over here and we'll turn off all the planes. So still we are active on the top plane, but I will only turn on this top plane from here. So I can only see the top plane now. I just turned off front plane and right plane just because, so we can have a clear drawing area over here. We had not deleted it. We had just simply turned it off. Right. So now we are active in sketch 1 on the top plane. We can start creating our first sketch. But what is we are going to create today? So if I'll check the assignment, right? If I'll check the assignment, we have given a assignment to create this sketch first. So this is the sketch we are going to create today. So if we'll start creating, okay. So Dushant is asking that how do we know which plane one should select? I don't know. Don't worry. In the beginning, you can select any plane. Just forget about like which plane is important, which view is important. Just forget everything. Start on any plane that you see in front of you, whether it's top plane, front plane, or right plane. Just start. Starting is important. And these habits you will develop once you will start doing the things. Like once you will, means this is not like, it's a design thinking, and design thinking only starts developing inside you once you start doing so much of designs. It's not like it's not like it's a defined process that you can follow and start doing the things. So once you will start designing lots of stuff, you will develop a habit in the beginning, like which plane to select. But now just forget everything, select any plane, start your drawing. So this is the drawing that we are going to create now, right? So open inside. If you can see it over here, all the dimensions clearly, that's fine. You could just remember it. So the first entity is a rectangle, right? Of sides 70 and 50, right? So we'll go back to our SolidWorks. So to define a rectangle as a sketch, if you'll go into your tool options, so these are all the sketch entities that you can see into this box. So these are all only the sketch entities. Now, before that, there is a panel that says smart dimension. So this is to define the size of your sketch or entities that you are creating. This is to exit a sketch panel. So right now we are active inside a sketch panel, and how we can verify that you are inside a sketch panel. So if you will able to see this option onto the right, that this option is to exit a sketch panel. So if you can see onto the right that this option is active, this means that we are active inside sketch work environment. So when you are active inside a sketch work environment, you cannot do the 3D stuff. So once sketch is done, you can exit this work environment and then you can start making it 3D. So it's like a separate room where you can only do the sketching part, right? And once you will click on start sketch and select the plane, this separate room will get active. And in this separate room, all these tools are kept that you can start using and start creating. So this is the place where all the sketch entities are there. This is the place by using which you can define the dimension of your sketch. And this is the panel by which using you can modify your sketches, because whenever you are creating something, definitely you have you need an options to modify it. For example, let's say if you have created any line, let's say you want to trim it from the center, then you need that tool that will, by using which you can trim that thing, right? So those all things you will find inside this panel. And then some other panels that just the only panel into this is important is this normal to. And if you cannot see this option into your SolidWorks, let me know how many of you can see this option normal to inside your sketchwork environment. Just write into the chat box. If you cannot see it, just write N into the chat box and I will show you how you can add this option. Even in the sketch panel, how you can add this option normal to, because this is very important. Just write into the chat box if you can see it or not. Just write into the chat box. And okay, Anuj say he can see that option normal too. Okay, so if any one of you, if you cannot see it inside your SolidWorks, okay, so the Kola is saying he doesn't have this option normal too. So I will tell you how you can add this option. So guys, if you cannot see this option over here, and by default, let's say in my case also, if anyhow I have deleted this option, right? Okay, so I just disable the command manager. Okay, so if you cannot see this option over here, what you can do, you can go on to this top option over here that says search commands, right? All of you can see this option search commands, right? Maybe in your case, if you have different versions, you just have to click on any of the three options and there you will find search command options. Just check it out, search command option. And the moment you will click on it, you will be able to see an option to search command. Here you only have to search for the normal, right? Here you can see this is the tool I'm talking about. You just have to click on it, drag it, and you can place it into your tool panel. So I just placed it 2 times. So that's completely fine. That's not a problem. But if you don't have that option, you can just place it over here, even inside your sketchwork environment, because this option will help you. How it will help you? For example, if somehow, if you have rotated your view like this, right? See, I can use, if I am using an external mouse, accidentally I can rotate the plane. And it's important that whenever you are sketching, you should always be working perpendicular to this plane, right? Normal to this plane. So to bring this plane back to the normal state, select the plane, click on the normal to, and then you will be get back to the front view of that particular plane, because we are creating a sketch on top plane only, right? So it's important. Now, these are the tools that I can use to start creating the sketch. And the first thing that we have to do is we have to create a rectangle of size 70 by 50, right? So I will go and find my rectangle tool. So in the icon itself, this is my rectangle tool, right? But if you'll expand the small drop down at this rectangle tool, there are different types of rectangle available over here. So the first is corner rectangle, by which we can create a rectangle defining the 2 corners. The second is center rectangle, where we can start creating a rectangle using the center point, that is the origin, and then other options. So our case, we'll simply use the center rectangle tool. We'll activate it. Now you can see our cursor just got changed to sketching pencil icon, and a rectangle, small rectangle is attached to it. This means that we can create a rectangle sketch. So from where we can start? We cannot create anywhere into this space, right? We can create, but that's not a good practice. Always start your first sketch with reference to the origin. So always start your first sketch with respect to the origin. At least define first point with respect to the origin, right? This is the origin point. So I will click on it on the center of this origin point and will drag my cursor like this. So after making the first left click, I will drag my cursor and I can create a rectangle, right? And whenever you will start dragging it, you can also see the value of the length and width of my rectangle as X and Y, right? So if I want to create a rectangle of size 50 by 70, so accordingly I can adjust, right? I can make it, let's say 70. So you don't have to be very accurate. You can create any size rectangle and you can define the dimensions later, right? So first I will create a simple rectangle. So here you can see, the moment I clicked again, the second left click, this rectangle just got created, but my tool is still active with my cursor. To come out of it, I will press escape on my keyboard, and now we had created our first sketch without any dimensions. We don't know the exact size of it on the top plane, right? Any questions up to this point? Just let me know into the chat box. I just want to make it super simple, super easy for you. So you can just follow along with me, start doing the same thing onto your SolidWorks. I will recommend start doing the same thing onto your SolidWorks. Great, thank you. So now we have created our rectangle. We don't know the size of it. What we'll do, if you want to check the size of this rectangle, how we can do that? So for that, if you will click on any of the edge, you can select it, right? So if you'll click on any of the edge, on the bottom, you can see the length of it, right? So I have selected this line. You can see it just got highlighted. And at the bottom of it, you can see the length of it, right? So it is right now 86.45 millimeter. And if we'll check this vertical line, this is 55.27 millimeter, right? But we need something else. Now to adjust the values of the length of these two lines, these two sides of the rectangle, we have to activate this next tool, that is Smart Dimension, right? We have to activate this sketch tool, Smart Dimension tool. And this tool we can activate by clicking on this Smart Dimension tool. So here you can see, the moment I activated that tool, my cursor just got again changed with this dimension icon attached to it. Now to define in any side dimension, we just have to click on the object, make a simple single left click and drag outside. So once you will click that, it will start showing the dimension of it. So just drag outside, because we want to keep dimensions always outside from the sketch so we can read the values. We don't want to keep it inside, and it could be a trouble for you to read the dimensions. So we'll just keep it outside always. So for this side, I just will keep this side and will click again. So that dimension just got placed, and we are also getting option to modify it. So I don't need this 55. So I will enter the values from my keyboard, that is 50. Either you can click on this green save icon, or you can also press enter. So I will press enter, and here you can see we just defined this side as 50, right? Now tool is still active. This time I will click on this side, and before I will define the other side, you can see the moment I had defined this side, the color of two sides just got changed to black. Why it just got changed to black? Can anyone in the comment box write what is the reason of it? Why it just changed to black? Do you know? Because these two are still blue, whereas these two became black. Why? Okay, if you don't know, no problem. So what happened whenever we had defined the length of this line, because of that, the width of this rectangle, or whatever you call it, length, now they just got defined. And when we say defined, like we have an option inside SolidWorks or any CAD tool to define our entities. And when we say define, I mean defining it with respect to any position, right? So in our case, we had defined this to 50 millimeter, right? And if we'll repeat the same Smart Dimension tool on this side, and if we'll change this to 70 and we'll press enter using this green tick, so this side also just got defined. So now the moment every sketch entity in your sketch is black, this means you have fully defined your sketch. And if you'll see at the bottom, it also says this sketch one that we created in design tree is fully defined. So it's important. And it's a best practice. Like whenever you're creating anything, make it fully defined, right? It's always a good practice. So if you are missing any dimensions or anything, always try to define it with using this Smart Dimension tool. Now, let's create another rectangle on the side of it. I'm not doing another rectangle at the origin. I'm just creating it onto the side of it, like anywhere onto the space. And we'll repeat the same Smart Dimension tool. and we'll enter the same values. Let's write the same values, 50 and 70. So even for this rectangle, I had inputted the same values, I had entered the same values, 50 and 70. Still it is blue, it is not defined. Why? Because I told you to start your first sketch always with respect to origin. So the origin in this sketch, for this sketch, it is constrained with respect to origin, and origin is always a fixed point inside your sketch. Fixed point by default. SolidWorks, inside SolidWorks, origin is a fixed point, and if you are starting something from a fixed point, then that could be defined. For example, let's consider a boat that is mounted with a pole, right? So if you mount a boat with a pole, this means using a rope, then that boat is always constrained with respect to pole, right? So the pole is a standard origin point for the boat position, right? And then you can adjust the length of the rope to define the position of the boat. In a similar manner, origin works in the same way, right? And in this case, we had not fixed this origin with respect to any fixed point. That's why still, if I will click on it and drag it, you can see it's floating inside the space, because the origin in this case is not defined. Or not the origin, you can also define any corner point as well, but this is not defined in any manner. That's why it's floating. That's why this is not defined. So in this complete sketch that is inside sketch 1, we have two rectangles. One is fully defined and one is not fully defined. That's why at the bottom you can say underdefined, right? Because in this sketch 1, we have two entities. One is defined, one is not defined. So if you want to define everything, then only you will be able to see the option defined over here, right? But now, for this practice, I will simply select these things and will delete, because I just shown you this for a sample. Now, once I deleted the extra rectangle, again, it became fully defined, because whatever the entities we have in sketch right now is all defined with the correct dimensions. Now, the next thing that we have to create another rectangle using the same origin point inside that rectangle. And the size of it is 50 by 35. So you can practice the same onto your SolidWorks as well, because if you will not practice, yes, black sketch is defined. So if you will not practice, there is no sense of joining this bootcamp. Keep practicing. Even once this bootcamp is over, you can start watching the recording and you can start practicing. So we'll activate the same rectangle tool again. So if accidentally, here you can see accidentally I activated this arc tool. So I can simply press escape on my keyboard. And then again, I will go back and activate this center rectangle tool, right? And again, I will use the same origin point as a center point of the rectangle. I will drag outside. And whenever you are dragging outside, make sure that you are not leaving your cursor on any of the existing entity. So if you will go outside and click on any of the existing entity, that would be a problem. So always leave your cursor in an empty space. The second point you have to always leave on an empty space like this, right? Now for this one, if you remember, the size is 50 by 35. So we'll repeat the same process, sketch dimension tool, right? Activate the sketch dimension tool, define this size as 50, enter, 35, enter, right? But we have created these rectangles, and these dimensions are actually, the position is not really important. Like you can keep it like this or this, because this is not a drawing of your model. This scales are just for the reference. These dimensions are just for the reference. So don't worry much about positioning these dimensions. The only thing is that it should be readable for you. So don't worry about these positions in the beginning, right? So we have created two rectangles, one inside another with a different dimension. Now if we'll go and check out, this rectangle is not a firm line, right? You can see it's a center line kind of thing. Can you see it? But the outer rectangle is a firm solid line with a black in color. That is also black in color because we had completely defined it, but the lines are not, lines are solid, that we have to change this to center line type. How we can do that? So right now, once we created this sketch profile, the first rectangle, that is the outer rectangle, is creating a closed profile. And this gray color, you can see, this means that this profile is closed. Now inside this profile, there is another rectangle. Again, that is a closed profile, right? So we got two profile. One is this and the other is this one. So to make it as a single profile, what we'll do, we'll change this line to construction line. So by pressing shift on your keyboard, you can select multiple lines like this. And the moment you will select something, inside a sketchwork environment, onto the left, you can see a properties panel, right? Yesterday I told you that I will be showing you what is the use of this property panel inside design feature manager. So here it is. Once you will select the entities, you will see this properties manager, and here it says I have selected these 4 lines from my drawing or sketch. Now I want to change this to construction line. So at the bottom, if I will tick this option, all the 4 lines just got changed to construction line. And if I'll click on finish, here you can see. So the moment I change this to construction line, they are not creating a closed profile, right? Now they are not creating a closed profile. So I hope you got the difference between the closed profile of, just give me a second. Okay, so a very good question is coming. So Jagjot is asking, if we created a construction line in the outer, then no profile would have created. Correct. So let's say I will go back by pressing Ctrl+Z. So let's say we have this closed profile, right? This is a form line. This is creating one profile. And if we'll select the outer profiles, outer sketch entities, these 4 lines, and we'll convert that to construction line, this will be the closed profile only, right? Because this is the form line. So in our case, we want to create the inside rectangle as a form construction line only. So we did that, right? I think it's a very good question, Jagjot. You had highlighted a very good point. So here it is now. So we, until this point, everything is clear to you. Now, at the corner of the newly created rectangle, the small rectangle that we created, we want to create 4 circular sketches, right? Of diameter 5 millimeter. Each circle is of diameter 5 millimeter. Let's do that. It is very simple. Again, if you want to create a new sketch entity, simply we'll go back to our sketch entity panel over here. We'll activate this circle this time. Again, the circle is of different type: perimeter circle, normal circle. So we'll select the normal circle that starts with a center point. To define a circle, you need either diameter or radius, right? And one origin point, the fixed origin point. So we'll activate this circle, and we'll zoom in onto this area, and we'll click on this corner point of the inside rectangle, and we'll drag outside, and we'll create a circle like this, right? And once you are done, you can press escape to come out of the tool. So super simple. Now here you can notice the moment I created this circle, right? Again, my sketch got underdefined because the diameter of this circle is not defined, right? The center is defined with this corner point of the rectangle, but the diameter is not defined. So once we'll define the diameter, again, it will get fully defined. So don't worry about that. We also have to add this circle on all four corner points, right? So this you can do in 2 different ways. The one way, you can keep activating the circle tool and keep creating circles like this on all 4 corners like that. This is the one way, right? The other way is, so just forget about the other way. We'll discuss that in later classes. So right now what we did, we had added 4 different circle on 4 corner points, you can say, right? Now, let me check. There are a few messages coming. Okay, someone is asking for the link to join this copy invitation link, paste. Okay, so what we did so far, we have added this thing, right? We have added this thing. Now, just give me a second. And guys, keep asking you questions. If you have any questions, don't be silent. Keep asking it. Like, so we added these 4 circles of, we don't know the diameter, right? So once we'll start the smart dimension tool again to define the the diameter or radius of the circle, mean click on the circle perimeter. Like you don't have to click inside the circle. You have to click on the perimeter of this circle anywhere onto the circle line and drag outside. Here you can see. So now what I am defining the diameter of this circle, right? So I will enter the value. Let's say I want to keep the 5 mm circle. So I will enter 5 and will press enter. And this phi icon, if you know this symbol phi, this means that the diameter is 5 mm for this circle. And the moment we enter that value, you can see this circle just got defined. Now again, if you'll notice over here, we have defined this circle, but the other three are still not defined, right? And for that, we are going to use another feature inside the sketchwork environment. But before that, I will press escape to come out of the tool, and I will select all the circles like this by pressing shift on my keyboard. Here you can see I have selected all the 4 circles, but inside SolidWorks, they don't call it circle, they call it arc. So here you can see arc 1 or arc 2, arc 3 or 4. Inside SolidWorks, they call it arc, right? So I have selected all the 4 circles, and then I can click on this relation, that is equal relation, and that is also known as constraints, right? So the first circle I already defined, and I have selected all the 4 circles, and if I will click on equal, what it will do, it will make all other circles also 5 millimeter in diameter. So we'll click on equal, right? So the moment I clicked, you can see all the sizes of the other circle just got adjusted, right? And if I'll click on finish, you can see we had just defined all the 4 circles diameter, right? Now all of them are defined, fully constrained, fully defined. So if you have any questions up to this point, let me know. Now, what is the benefit of applying the equal constraint with the other 3 circle is, if I want to change the diameter of all the 4 circles at once, I can simply change this value by double clicking on it, and I can enter the new value and I can press enter. And you can see all the sizes are updating quickly. So that's the added benefit of it. You can quickly update your design, right? You can quickly update your design if you have the relation with the other entities, right? Okay, so any question? Swaraj is asking that why the circle is blue line now seen black. Yes, because it was not defined, that's why you can see it blue. Once I had defined the diameter of it, because to define a circle entity, you need to define its diameter value, right? Okay, so Raj is asking, construction line of outer and inner rectangle are supposed to be collinear, right? It is not supposed to be collinear because the proportion of the dimensions are different, right? This is 70, this is 50. We had reduced it in a different proportion, right? If we have reduced on this side as 20, but in this side we have reduced only 15. That's why this will always not be collinear. If you have reduced this side also 20 and this side also 20, then in that case, let's say make it 30. Then in that case, it could be collinear, not 30, sorry. If we are reducing this on 20, then on this side, it could be around, how much it could be, guys? I don't remember exactly, 35. Okay, so we have to figure it out using the maths. It's a simple mathematics. So, but whatever we are doing into this sketch is completely based in mathematics. Like if it is coming like this is completely right. There is no problem with the tool. It could be the human error, like we can make mistakes, but the tools like SolidWorks never make any mistakes. This is completely defined by a certain Boolean operations, rules and regulations. So always remember it. Now, so we have created all these 4 circles. We also defined it. We had applied a constraint and relation between all those 4 circles. And what is the relation? Just write into the chat box. What was that relation we had applied between all the 4 circles diameter? Just write into the chat box, everyone. What is the relation we have defined? Correct. Equal relation we have defined. Correct. Right. Right. And yes, and at the end of this session, I will also be taking feedback of you, like w- how is my training style, like whether I have to improve on any area, or like if I'm making it simple or it's not easy to understand, just let me know so we can take your feedback and change our content, change our delivery style uh, in a way that you can get more most out of it. So yes, correct. Others, correct, Avijit. Yes, we had applied an equal relation between all the four circles. And once you are done, you can press escape. You can press escape to come out of all the tool. Now the next step, we'll move on to the next step. That is also important. So we'll move on to the next step, and that is to create a slot shape onto this position. But before this slot shape, we'll create these two lines, right? These two lines that is separating this rectangular area. So we'll go back to SolidWorks. Now to create a line inside SolidWorks, because this rectangle is also a combination of four lines, right? But there is a shortcut to create a rectangle. But we also have a line tool inside SolidWorks. So if we'll expand it, we have different types of line. We'll use this simple line tool, right? Simple line tool. We activated it. Again, the cursor you can see changed. We'll click on this origin point and we'll create a line like this. We have to create a straight horizontal line, but intentionally I created it a little bit tapered. I will show you how we can make it horizontal. We also created a line like this, right? But if you want to create a perfect horizontal line in your first go, if you will click on the origin and if you move your cursor, automatically it will snap onto the midpoint of this side, right? You can see it. So you can create a perfect horizontal line also. But intentionally, purposefully, I created this line on a certain angle. Now, if I'll click on this line and if I'll drag it, like this, here you can see I can move it because it is not defined. This endpoint is defined with respect to origin, but the other endpoint of this line is not defined on this side, so it can move, right? So to make it defined, what I will do, if I want to make it perfectly horizontal line, I will select this line. We'll go on to the properties panel that is on the left side. Here you can see I can click on this horizontal constraint. For this line, I will apply this horizontal relation. And the moment I will click, you can see this relation just got applied with this line, and the line also got adjusted to horizontal. And if I will click on finish, this line you can see it got horizontal. And how you can verify that, and the moment I make it horizontal, this means this just got defined. There is no need for dimension because it's starting from this point and ending at this point. This means the length of this line could be 35, right? And we have defined it. And now if I will select the line, you can notice this constraint is highlighting in a green color over here, right? And that constraint is this horizontal constraint we have applied onto this line. So to apply, make it this line vertical, we'll repeat the same process. We'll select the line, right? We'll select the line. We'll go onto the properties panel, and this time, instead of going as horizontal, we'll change this to vertical, right? It just became vertical. I will click on finish. And again, this also got fully defined that we can notice at the bottom of our sketch panel. Complete sketch is fully defined. Now, can you tell me the length of this line? Just write into the chat box, everyone, what is the length of this line that we just defined as a vertical? Yes, correct, 25. Jigjot is super fast, 25. It's very good, guys, that you are listening to me by using these simple tricks, asking questions from you. It's very simple question, I know, but by asking this question, I make sure that all of you are carefully listening to me, and that makes me more happy. Like if you are learning something from my session. So we have created these two lines. Now our next task is to add this slot shape. So we call this shape as slot shape. So two semicircle on the side and some rectangular portion on the center. So that shape is known as slot shape in engineering space. So remember that. And you will be able to see this kind of openings onto the plates or holes like slot shape on different objects. If you'll notice objects around you in your factories, in your industry, then you will be able to see, right? Great. Yes, correct. 35. Horizontal is 35. Yes. So we'll add the slot shape over here. And for that, again, it's like adding a new shape. So we'll move on to the sketch in 3D panel, and we'll find the slot shape tool. And even in the icon itself, it explains straight slot. But again, it has multiple kind of slots available. We'll use the simple straight slot, right? And we'll create a slot in the empty area first, like this. We are not creating it on line. We are simply creating on an empty area, right? And we randomly created the size of this slot. We had not defined it in the beginning. So the first thing that we have to do, we want this point to be on this line, right? So for that, what we can do, I can press shift on my keyboard. I can select this line point first, and I can select this line also. So we selected one line, that is line 13, and we selected this point, that is point 24. And in these two objects, we want to apply a new constraint relation, that is coincident. So what coincident will do, it will move the free object and it will bring it onto the fixed object. So the moment I will click on coincident, you can see it just got moved and got placed onto the line. So yes, this is what we wanted to do. We'll click on finish. Now what we did, we created the slot somewhere around the space and we had moved it and fixed it onto the line. Now the second thing is, we want the center point of the slot completely aligned with this origin vertically, right? So for that, what we can do, we can select the origin by pressing shift on my keyboard, and we can also select the center point of the slot. So we selected both of the thing, right? And I can apply this vertical constraint. So it will move the slot exactly aligned to the center. So I don't know if you can notice, let me move it a little bit so you can see it in a better way. Just give me a second. Maybe we had defined it. Just give me a second. Let me define it with respect to this line. And yeah, so you can see the center point is not aligned with the origin. So we'll select center point and the center point of the slot with respect to, and we'll apply this vertical constraint. And you can see the center point just got moved and got aligned vertically with respect to this origin. This means now the center point of the slot is completely at the midpoint of this line, right? That's why I aligned vertically with respect to this origin. So instead of doing that, what we can also do, let's press Ctrl J to go back. And now if we can select this point and this line, we can now also apply this constraint that says midpoint. So we have two different ways to define this position of the center of the slot, either by vertical constraining or by midpoint. So here you can see, once I defined this midpoint, it just got shifted at the midpoint of this line, blue line, and I can press finish. Now we have to define the size of this slot. So if we'll go back and see, the size is, radius is 4 millimeter and the slot length from origin to origin is 5, right? We'll come back, we'll activate the smart dimension tool. This is 4 millimeter. And the length of this from this point to this point, I will click on both the points and will drag outside, and you can enter the new value 5. There you can see side just got adjusted. So we have defined all the dimensions into this sketch, and that's why this sketch is fully defined. Any questions up to this point? Let me know, guys. Any questions? So we have talked about different tools and techniques, and that tools was, we had learned 3 different sketches, entities: line, rectangle, circle, and slot. 4. Line, rectangle, circle, and slot. We had also learned about applying different constraint system. The first constraint was equal constraint. The second constraint was vertical. Then another constraint was horizontal. Then we also learned about the next constraint, that was the midpoint constraint. So let me know if you have any questions up to this point. Let me note it down. So once you will start practicing this same sketch into your SolidWorks, then only you can come up with lots of questions. I know even if I had explained each steps very carefully, And once you will start doing it on your end, you will face lots of problem, right? You will have lots of confusion in different steps, and then I can help you. So for these 7 days, you can message me onto the WhatsApp about your questions, about the steps if you are facing any problem. And this is why I say this is a boot camp, because we all are here to help each other in learning this tool. So utilize this 7 days at your fullest and get started into the tool, get started into the design industry. So this is the sketch we prepared. Now your task for the assignment is to create this sketch. Even this sketch is very simple than this one, because this has simple lines only, but still once you will start doing this sketch, you will find lots of problem. So your task is to create this sketch, and this sketch, both the sketches, and submit it as an assignment. Assignments are not compulsory, again I'm repeating, but if I'll do it, I will be very happy. Means I will review your assignments personally one by one and can give you the feedback, like what are the problems, what are the things that you did wrong. So if you want to take my feedback, if you want to mentor from me personally, then submit your assignment. That otherwise it's not compulsory. Even if you'll be present on all the 7 days, you can get your certificate, right? Certificate of completion. So this was all about the today's session. Now we are opening the Q&A session, question and answer session. So if you have any questions, just go ahead. I'm ready to take all of your questions. Any confusion, anything if you want to ask, just go ahead. And again, I'm repeating, like for the day one, you can see the recording is available. Similar way, you will find the day two recording will be added once this thing is over, and by the end of the day tomorrow, I will add the recordings. So if you have missed any part of this video, part of this live stream, you can rewatch it onto the same link, right? Yes, you can leave here. Karthik, you can leave. Guys, if you have any questions, go ahead, all of you. Now we are ready to take questions. Just go ahead. If you have any questions, just go ahead, guys. I'm waiting for all of your questions. Chat box is open. You can ask your questions.
Sir, 1 second, sir.
Yes.
Sir, just a simple revision for this one.
So you want to see the relation part again, right?
Yes, sir.
Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Yes. So the relation part will go again. We just see guys carefully, like how we are doing. So the relation part is, let's say if I added another circle like this, right? Now this circle, we want these circles to be equal in size, right? And the one way is to define the dimension again. Like we can define the dimension again, we can make it 5. So all of them will be of equal size. But the problem with this process is, if you want to make a change, like if we have 100 holes like this, circular holes, and if you want to make a change, we can make it 6, but this will not update because it has been defined by the different dimension entities. So we have to change it again, this 6. And if it's 100 holes, we have to do one by one each hole, right? And that's a cumbersome process. So what we'll do, instead of defining it with a dimension, we can apply the relation with respect to the existing circle. And that how we can do, pressing shift on your keyboard, first select the defined object, then secondly select the undefined object. And the moment you will select both the object by pressing shift on your keyboard and just leave all of your buttons, and still both of them are selected, and that you can notice onto the left side in the properties panel, arc1 and arc7 is selected, right? And here we'll apply a relation. Right now in these two objects, the existing relation is nothing, it's empty. But we'll apply a new relation, that is this equal relation. Here you can see equal radius relation we have applied. And the moment we clicked on it, applied this relation, in the preview itself, you can see the size just got adjusted. And the moment I will click on it, finish, now this is also 6. This is also 6. It is blue because the position of the circle is not defined, but this is also 6. Right? And if I'll change this to, let's say 7, you can see this is also updating, right? If I'll make it 2, just to show you the visible changes, You can say it is also updating. So we had applied a relation between the two objects, and in CAD industry we don't call it relation, we call it constraints. So what we did, we had applied a limitation onto the this blue circle, that you have to follow the same dimension that is defined with this circle. So it's kind of constraint we have applied, right? Now to make this circle black, like defined, what we have to do, first we want this circle in line with this line, right now it is free to move in this space. To make it in line with this line, or collinear, if we'll say, what we'll do, we'll select this line, we'll select this point by pressing shift on my keyboard, and again we have to add another relation. Okay, not this one, maybe we have to select this point, the center point of this circle, and this point of the circle, and we have to apply the new relation that is horizontal. And the moment I will apply the horizontal, you can see now they are horizontally constrained as well. So what is meant by horizontal constraint? I can move this circle on the left and right side, because we had not defined the distance from this circle, but we cannot move it top and bottom because we had applied a new relation with respect to this point and this point, and that relation is horizontal relation. So that way we can start defining a constraint for different sketch entities inside SolidWorks sketch workspace. Right now, to define the horizontal position, we can define the dimension of it. Like from this point to this point, we want to keep dimension of 25. So now it is completely defined. We have defined the diameter, radius of this circle. We have also defined the position of it, like horizontally constrained, and also the distance. So now it is fully defined. Let me know any questions.
No, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you. So once you will start practicing, again I'm repeating, once you will start practicing the same into your SolidWorks only, then you can come up with lots of questions. I know, like, it looks easy, it looks simple, but the moment you will start doing the same stuff at your end, you will face lots of problem, and that's where you can start implementing my concepts that I am sharing. Right. So guys, let me before we'll move forward, please let me know how is the content quality. Like, I know all of you had spent some amount, even if it's very small, but if you had spent some amount, and let me know if you can justify the value that you are getting with the amount or not. Just write yes or no. Even the no is welcome, and I just want to know, like, how you are thinking, and don't take it personally. Like, if you'll write no, I will start making any kind of differentiation. That is not a thing. If you think, you can just give your feedback, yes or no. If it is valuable, write yes. If it is not valuable, write no. I just want to take feedback, like if I need to improve on anything. Thank you, others, Abhijit, Subhasis, Dusant. And again, I'm repeating, all this bootcamp is for beginners only. This is not advanced session where you will be learning the advanced tips and tricks, because the first thing is always to get started into the tool. And once you will start doing your designs at your end, then only you can start making the advanced stuff. So first thing is get started, right? Sitting and watching is a different thing, but starting something into that. And one more thing, someone has personally messaged me, like, how we can start creating the portfolio, right? How we can start as a mechanical engineer or as a design engineer, how we can start developing our engineering portfolio. So I think I will share a few videos I created few years back into my YouTube. I will share the links with you if all of you are open for that. And if you follow that video, you can start developing your portfolio as well. Because as for simple engineer, no, these days in 2025, everyone should have a portfolio, even the engineers. Like, if you had designed something, if you have solved any problem into your life, that should be documented. Like, if you are going somewhere for the interview, or if you are pitching your client or anyone, then what you will show, instead of resume, everyone is showing their resume or CV. But if you have the portfolio, that will make a difference, right? So that's why the having a portfolio is the added advantage over other learners, right? Other engineers. So always develop a portfolio, very good portfolio, where whatever the problem you have solved, you can discuss. And again, I'm open for questions for more 5 minutes. Let me know if you have any question. Anyone, you can just unmute your mic. There is nothing like you have to hide or get shy. Simply unmute your mic. You can ask in any language, Hindi, English, These two languages only I know. So you can ask with me Hindi or English. Just go ahead and ask your questions. Because I know as a mechanical engineer, we are all very shy. We are not very open to asking questions. We think about other people, but just forget about it, guys. The life is not about getting shy. Just open up and ask your question. It could be related to mechanical engineering. Again, I'm repeating freelancing also, because I do lots of work in freelancing. Okay, so Dusant is saying SolidWorks stack a lot. I mean, I told you, you need a 16 GB of RAM at least to run SolidWorks, because that is the recommended minimum hardware requirement from even the SolidWorks company. So if you have the configurations right, it will not stuck. Guys, ask a question. I can see there are still 11 people into the chat right now. So many others: Mohammad, Suvasis, uh, Ayomi, Abhijit, Dusant, Swaraj, Pramchandra, Sundaram, Tarun. Anyone, you can ask guys questions. That is the best way. Okay, Sundaram, do you want to say something?
Sir, future, this only software teach me, sir. Future, any other software you teach me, sir?
See, I keep creating workshops and webinars like this, not just about SolidWorks. Once this workshop will be over, we have a very good engineers group, right? More than around 1,000 members are there. All are mechanical engineers. So once this workshop is over, and whoever is interested, I will add you into that group. And from there are so many people sharing lots of knowledge at free of cost, right? Different softwares, some are charging very minor amount. Different software, advanced softwares like UGNX and Katia, they are doing training stuff and all this stuff. So from there you can start learning. But once this workshop is over, this bootcamp is over, I will start adding all of you into that main group, right? So just be patient. First start with one software, one design intent, one design process at a time. Then we can keep improving slowly. Right? Guys, ask questions. Okay, so we have more 3 minutes. I'm still waiting. If you're watching me still, uh, you're not asking questions, just watching me silently, then it's not good. Guys, please ask questions, because that is the benefit of having the live session. If you'll not ask question, means then you can watch the recordings also. The only benefit of having a live session is you can ask questions and I will answer you. You will get benefited, right, at live. Okay, so I can see none of you have any questions at this moment. But anytime, I told you that the groups are open. Anytime you can message into the group. Like if you have any questions, doubt or anything, just go ahead and start asking any questions. Anytime if I'll see, yes, in SolidWorks we can use mirror. That will be learning in the tomorrow session how we can use the other advanced tools like the trim, convert, offset, mirror, and the patterns. That will be learning tomorrow. Yes, Swaraj, definitely in future there will be SolidWorks Advanced Bootcamp. And the reason I don't do much SolidWorks Advanced Bootcamp is because the participation is very low. Very few people wants to dive into the Advanced SolidWorks Bootcamp. And at that price point, some thinks that this is just a scam. Like if I am offering the SolidWorks Advanced Bootcamp at 99 rupees, none of the people are interested. They are thinking that it's a scam, because if you want to learn advanced stuff, then definitely you have the basic knowledge. So that's why, because and that is the thing, like that is the practical mindset, human mindset. We cannot do anything with that. But yes, I will definitely keep, like if we'll get at least 10 interest of Advanced SolidWorks Bootcamp, then definitely we'll dive into that and we'll start showing you how we can start working on assemblies that have more than 100 parts and sub assemblies. So definitely we'll dive into that, but in future, not at this moment right now. So guys, this was all about the today's session. And again, I'm repeating the same session, the same time will be happening tomorrow and for the continuous 7 days. So I expect you to be prepared, keep learning, keep start using the software. And if you're having any trouble in the installation or anything, message me. Like at whatever extent it is possible for me to help you, I will come to you and will help you. So please take an initiative, start learning. And until then, if you have any questions, just message inside the group. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, thank you so much everyone. Bye bye, good night, take care, keep learning.